Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 1416 Southeast Bidwell Street here in Portland. We're located down in the basement. We're going through it's actually a smaller, like 1.5, 2-inch clean out. It's that or it's an old drain that got hacked off. It's got a piece of wood stuffed into it just to keep it clogged up and sealed. Anyway, we're using that as our point of access right at the base of the cast iron stack here, which we'll show on the way out. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. We do have water currently running, and I just can't remember if I mentioned it, but we zeroed out right at the bottom of the vent stack. Off we go. Line transitions here over to 6-inch clay. Right now here at about 60 feet, if you look in the flow line here, I don't have, especially at the joint where you get a better view, there is no water flowing through the sewer line. I've got a sink running upstairs on about medium or so flow, and it appears to be escaping the sewer line through pipe joints somewhere. We'll try and figure out where that's at on the way back in, but the line here is dry, especially at the pipe joints where you could see the water go over the top. That is not happening. So, and it's not a terribly uncommon thing to have happen in older clay pipe. That right there was some excess pipe grout, and then here is the main lateral connection. And kind of the unfortunate thing here is that other than that, the clay pipe is in very nice condition. Unfortunately, the water is escaping the sewer line somewhere. So we'll try and figure that out as we come back. We'll leave the water running, and we should be able to figure out which joint it is that it's escaping through. In fact, we're going to do that now before the ground gets saturated and it overflows it. Now, I didn't pull that quite fast enough here. It doesn't look like the water overwhelmed, but you can see here now it made it to the next joint, but it's seeping out through the one behind us because it's still not getting up to this pipe joint here. So it would appear you have at least a few joints in the clay pipe that are not allowing water to get past them, at least the lower volume water. If we flushed a toilet or ran a bathtub, something high volume, there'd be enough water to overwhelm the joint and go right over the top of it, and you can see all the water just now started to catch up here. What's happening is the water is seeping out of the joint until the ground around it is saturated. You can actually watch the water go right out of the joint there. Once the ground gets saturated enough and it can't accept any more water, the water continues to go over the pipe joint. The amazing thing is that we don't have any root intrusions in the sewer line. Usually that's what you start seeing when you have compromised joints. Anyway, we're going to go locate the terminus here at 67 feet. All right, located the camera head successfully. The line terminates at the main out on Southeast Bidwell Street. We're going to pull back here to the street curb, and I'll do a couple paint markings at the curb, and then one just before the porch. The line looks like it goes underneath the porch out front, so I'll only be able to do a little bit of locating. But what I would look into in this circumstance, the clay pipe here is, at least it appears to be graded very, very nicely. When you're losing water out of the joints, it's a little hard to tell if you have any areas with standing water, but the line is super clean. I think it looks like when you're flushing toilets, stuff is still being conveyed to the main properly. But areas like this, you can see I have a little bit of standing water. And what I'm getting at here is to look into an epoxy liner for the repair, which is completely trenchless. Even if you retain a little bit of standing water, it's not of any concern. It's smooth pipe, 6-inch diameter. A little bit of standing water here and there is not going to affect functionality. I would highly recommend looking into that. It will save money as well. After any repairs are done, I highly recommend rescoping the sewer line to check the work. Alright, I've got as much of the line mapped out on the exterior as I can. Right here, or about like 2 feet, we're going to go underneath the front porch. I can't locate that part of it, but I'm getting around 5.5 feet deep near the street curb, around 6 feet at the porch. I would definitely double check. My locator's bouncing around a little bit for some reason. So if you do any digging, make sure you double check. But I do recommend a full update to the clay pipe here on property. You've got multiple joints. We've been able to visibly see water escape. But definitely look into the pipe liner. I think it will save some money in this case. It's quickly done. The only thing you probably would have to do here is add a 4-inch clean out in somewhere around the stack so that they can have proper access to do that. However it's done, I recommend it be updated, but I think that's a great way to go. The line drains beautifully. I mean, aside from the joints being open, I'm talking slope and grade. It barely looks like any of this line has settled at all, which is amazing to see a line this age.
Yeah.
The cast iron.
Pretty good.
The cast iron here is looks like in good condition. So I don't have any problems with the cast iron. Just recommend the clay be updated, and I recommend rescoping afterwards to check the work.